Right, how y'all doing today? It's always kind of scary going live. Man, I've been sick. My computer's sick. It's at Best Buy. And so we're just trying to do what we can to keep up the speed on things here. And hopefully we'll make it through what we're trying to do here today as we are live. But we've got some content to bring to you that I think is very interesting. Like I said, I was sick this week. And so a lot of times, for those of you all who get a little bit sick from time to time, you may want to at that time veer to maybe a video session, a session with a lot of video, or sessions that require for you to have to talk less. And so my voice is really strained this week. And so that's what we did. And I usually make new content each week, but a lot of times I'm bringing back content from previously. And this is one of the ones that we brought back today. It's titled Paris Hilton Trauma While Rich. For those of you all who know Paris Hilton, uh, you wouldn't necessarily associate her as being someone that you would be very empathetic of for some of us, because it's like she's rich, she's got everything she needs, and the way that it appears on the screen is that, she's like superhuman type people, someone who really you don't connect with that has a real life with real problems and things like that. This documentary that we kind of scanned through, and I would share little clips with my group to help us to process Paris, she being our client, us being able to try to identify what would be her diagnosis, what's the attachment concerns, what are the concerns that impact the relationships that she has, both with her family, why she's not married now, with her occupation, what she thinks about herself. Like it's some really deep stuff. We don't get to go through it all today, but I'm going to hook you all up with the sections that you can look at. And maybe I'll just call them out if I can remember as we go to where you can actually use these for your group as you go through and process the things, or you all might just watch it at greater length. But these are the key points. So I want to get into that. But just before we do, I want to just thank everybody who came out and attended our DSM training. It was awesome. It was really good to have you all out there. And so, and it was a great showing, and it was a great show by the presenters. But I do want to say that we have rolled out a beta for self-paced DSM. Now we will be having another DSM training in the near future. It will be in March, I believe. Uh, but I don't have the exact date with me right now, but we'll release that shortly. But I do believe it will be maybe April. Maybe April. I don't want to say. But in the meantime, for those of you all who need to get the training right now, you can check that out. We'll have the link in the chat and you can go through and just click in. There's our speakers. We got a nice little funnel, like, oh, we're trying to learn stuff. Also, we've got the supervisor training. We've got that coming up next month on March 25th and 26th. So if you're looking to be I feel like that we're fading off as far as the what I'm seeing for a number of reasons. With the drive to have, the drive for supervisors. And I don't want y'all to get faint at heart with that. I think this is a really great option if you are looking to improve your income and to have some type of freedom. It was the first stop that I did before having a full private practice. Is I started off with supervision and started being able to reap the benefits of collecting money directly. But let's get into this. Dang it, I've talked too much already. Let's slide on over to the video here. And let me just stop the share and make sure that we got the volume. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to process everything because we don't have enough time, but I am going to show you the clips that I think are essential as we're looking at Paris Hilton, trying to process her situation and see if she's got trauma and what's the impact of that trauma, what started that trauma. Okay. And this is going to be going a little fast. All right. It's going to go a little fast, but let's go.
Wake refreshed, yeah. In my dreams. Never wake refreshed. Oh, so tired. So tiring. I'm just literally, my mind is going through what the upcoming months are, and it's non-stop. Travel all around the world, and I've seen nothing except hotel room, club, stores. I don't even know who I am sometimes.
That's common with clients I see. I don't know
I'm
who I
always
am.
kind of putting on this, facade or just like happy, perfect life. Just had this plan and then created this brand and this persona and this character, and I've been stuck with her ever since. And like, I didn't used to be that way. I'm so full. Where's my blanket? Oh. I have horrible insomnia. I'm scared to go to bed at night.
Hey, boom. Before we even go any further, I'm gonna let it play. When she says I have horrible insomnia, I'm scared to go to bed at night. Sometimes clients will say stuff like that, and we could just let it sweep by. That is an indication that we want to rule out trauma. What type of trauma? Well, guess like if we are having problems with insomnia, it means that we can't go to sleep, and if we're scared to sleep at night, then that's to me as a therapist an indication that hey man, what's happening when I go to sleep? Am I dreaming? Is am I dreaming about something? And then that leads to well, whoa, hold on, what are we having dreams that are making us scared? And then I'm looking at that sounds like the re-experiencing part that comes along with trauma. We'll go through the mnemonic of trauma that involves trauma, re-experiencing, avoidance. I forget some of them has had to happen at least 6 months, the hypervigilance, things like that. We'll talk about that. But she's indicating something that should be kind of awaken us as a therapist, but she's going to talk a little bit more about it.
No, yes. I always have this recurring nightmare, no matter what I do. I'm in bed, and these two people come into my room. And say, do you want this to happen the easy way or the hard way? I'm trying to just run.
So as you can see, she is troubled speaking about whatever the event is that occurred. And we're going to learn a little bit more about this later. So when we play some of these things out, this is something that I found very compelling. I'm going to see if y'all catch it. Okay. Sometimes you're on the screen and you can see from the way your supervisees respond that, hey, something just hit. Like, okay, what just happened there with what she said? Let's listen to her. As she speaks about a few things.
I don't feel that bad for you because I feel like if you wanted kids and you wanted a husband, you would find a way to make it happen. Maybe you don't want it. You think society expects that of you. But if you don't genuinely want it, it's a lot of responsibility.
I just don't want to miss that opportunity.
I know.
To never do it.
I know. Yeah.
At least I had my eggs frozen.
Yeah, thank God.
I definitely want to have a girl first, name her London, but I just don't know when I have time. Like, I will not stop until I make $1 billion, and then I think I can relax. I know it sounds crazy. I don't know, I just don't have to worry. I don't want to ever have to worry about anything.
And you're happy?
Sometimes.
You haven't seen that.
Woo-wee! That's it. Like she says, I will not stop until I get $1 billion. So for some people, some of us might just say, well, of course, she's been bred and raised by the Hiltons and a rich family, and they're millionaires, billionaires. That's not unusual for her to want to be a billionaire. No, 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 no. First time I saw that, there's too much passion in that. And she just didn't say that because it gave me kind of like Steve Harvey vibes because like Steve Harvey, he was homeless. You know what I'm saying? And so he'll work all these different jobs like just around the clock, almost 24/7, just because he has a fear of never going back. So you many times we're acquainted with that story, but what about from Paris? Why would she have such a strong desire to be a billionaire? But that's not it. It was compounded with that she also says what? She says that what was her some of her words will, I will not stop until I have it, then I can relax. And then she made a statement that indicates some level of anxiety uh being interconnected with uh not being able to reach the point of being a billionaire. That starts smelling like something to me, because like either you've had some type of radical experience, like what's driving you so hard to where you're having anxiety and can't rest unless you reach this point. And let me tell you, when I saw that it rang something with me, but I just could not make anything of it because it just nothing did at that time make sense to me. But we're going to try to make some more sense of this, but she has a few more words I think that we want to hear.
Really? I don't know what to do. When you have to travel every day, basically, to maintain a relationship, unless you're going to have some bitch boy following you around like they always do, and I lose all respect for them.
Immediately.
They become emasculated. I'm like...
You need to date an equal.
But I feel like anyone...
You can't control an equal.
So then that's an indication to me that maybe she's not dating equals. And if you look at this documentary, some things will be spelled out concerning that.
I don't like that.
Well, Paris.
Because I'm scared.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Okay, well, I'm doing the same thing.
And you're insane.
I'm not insane, but I don't know. I'm freaked out by people, especially men.
Sex. Okay. So is that where we're supposed to stop? Well, we're supposed to go a little bit further, I believe. No, that's the point right there. She says she's freaked out by people. So that's all automatically making me have to kind of look into why are you freaked out by people? Like, did you not attach well with your caregivers? Did you have some type of trauma? I just don't know. It's not enough information, right? That's how I was thinking when I saw it. But then in this instance, she kind of brings us closer to home, because she says, I'm freaked out by people, but especially men. And anytime I've heard that, the majority of the time, that leads me to a trauma. So they're starting to smell like a lot of smoke. Okay. And it seems as though Paris Hilton has experienced some level of trauma, and possibly with a man or men. Does that trauma start from a caregiver? Were there some type of narcissist or other people involved that she just didn't attach to, and that was trauma to her? Did something happen with the caregivers or parents? See, these are questions that we have to ask. Okay, did something happen with that caused the maladaptive attachment with her and her caregivers? Was there some type of sexual trauma, down the road? So these are questions that my mind, and the first time seeing it, was just rambling over, trying to discover, because I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking like she probably was pretty protected. What kind of trauma could she have experienced, especially that she wants to talk about at this point? So like I'm just like glued to trying to discover what's going on, because something is telling me that Paris Hilton has had a serious traumatic experience. Let's hear some more.
Wigs, necklaces that said sexy, hot bitch. What? I'm thinking, no, this is too much for me. This is crazy.
And then I got a really good fake ID.
She was just gone in the night. And my mother would be up all night calling every nightclub, threatening them.
I think I just got addicted to the nightlife. I felt accepted. I just felt like the queen of the night. And that's where I really became Paris.
Finally, I locked her in the room. I was afraid she could run into a predator, get kidnapped. Fear, to me, is the most powerful feeling there is. Fear. More than pain, more than love, more than hate, more than light, more than fear. And I thought this was the worst mistake ever moving here. I got to get her out of here.
I was just a kid living in New York, going to high school, obviously ditching a lot of class, whatever, but I feel like my parents were scared and they didn't want their reputations to be ruined because Page Six was writing all these stories. So I felt like
He's being sacrificed in her mind because of her parents' reputation, not her own personal well-being. Are we getting some clues here?
I was just kind of just sent away to be hidden.
All you ever wanted was the best for your child.
I first sent her to an outdoor wilderness program.
It's for teenage boys and girls needing a change of attitude and direction.
There's all these places called emotional growth schools. The first place was in the middle of nowhere. We were building other camps, basically doing manual labor all day long. It was just constant yelling at, like, boot camp style. So I whispered to one of the girls, like, let's get out of here tonight.
She got away.
We ran through cornfields, through mountains. The guys that worked at the camp grabbed us, and then we got back and they literally just beat the hell out of us in front of everyone. Just let everyone know, if you run away, this is what happens. And then they sent me to this other place, which was hell too, and I ran away from there.
She jumped down an entire flight of stairs.
They shut down highways, they shut down the airport.
I escaped from Ascent, Cascade, Sea-Doo. All of these emotional growth schools.
We're just spending all our time trying to figure out should we move to the moon? What do we do?
I'm like, please, can I just go home? I've already been through so much. I promise I'll never go to a club again. Please, like, I can't go back to these places. You have no idea. There was no convincing them, no matter what I said. So I just didn't trust them. It made me not trust anyone, not even my own family.
Here we go with trust again, right? So it's a number of things sequencing, and this right here, you just got to see it. I don't have time to go through it, but as you can see with its thumbnail here, or whatever you call it here, is says bad relationships. Okay, so we're gonna skip past that, but this is terrible. But how do people get to this point? You know, some of what we're seeing is what leads us here, and it impacts our interpersonal relationships. It impacts a lot of things. But we're gonna just skip past because we just got a few minutes. I better stick with the script, guy. I want to show y'all some other stuff, but you can go and check this out. It's on YouTube. It's free. And we're going to skip to getting to understand more about her trauma and maybe why she wants to be a billionaire. All right.
Everything under the rug.
Yeah.
My parents always hid everything from
She's
us.
killing it, by the
So
way.
I would listen on the phone. That's how I got all my intel. And I remember it was a school night. It was the middle of the night, and I just heard screaming, bloody murder. I knew there was a takedown in the works. I didn't know it was people coming in and capturing her.
I thought I was being kidnapped. I started screaming for my mom and dad, like, help me, and no one came. As they were taking me, I saw my parents standing by their door crying. And I was like, please help me, what's happening? And no one would tell me what was happening.
And then in the morning, it was breakfast, and Paris didn't come to the breakfast table. And then my parents were like smiling, like everything's fine, and we didn't ask any questions.
Secrets.
And
Secrets
then
and
I
lies.
think they said she like went to boarding school. Because they were always trying to protect us and shield us.
Still impacting it.
Did you ever get like
right
nervous
now.
that would happen to you? Because if they
No.
didn't really explain it to you on why she was going away, did you ever feel like
She was very naughty.
what?
She was.
Did you talk to her about things? Did you?
I
Like,
told on her with everything.
Thanks,
I would
bitch.
listen on the phone. Have you ever said sorry to mom and dad?
No,
Like,
I
how?
went through hell too.
I know.
It's crazy because her sister still to this day, or whenever this was made, doesn't understand the impact of what happened to her. Like, that's so out of line and out of place. Like, what happened to me as far as this traumatic experience, you're asking me to apologize. Maybe I do need to apologize, but I'm not probably at that level. Like, I'm sitting here crying. Like, that's how out of touch her sister is, even though they're close. She's sitting here crying, reliving the experience, possibly in her mind, and her sister's talking about apologizing to her parents. Like, I'm just now getting the fullness of that right now. Like how disconnected. There's a disconnect there with the sisters here. All right, so
The last school that I went to was Provo Canyon School, and that was the worst of the worst. There's no getting out of there. You're sitting on a chair, staring at a wall all day long, getting yelled at or hit. I felt like a lot of the people who work there got off on torturing children and seeing them naked. They would prescribe everyone all these pills. I didn't know what they were giving me. I would just feel so tired and numb. Some people in that place were just gone. Like, the lights are on, no one's home. A lot of people were on suicide watch. And I was so scared that was gonna happen to me. So eventually, I found out a way to not take the pills. But everyone would tell on everyone, and they found a Kleenex with all of the pills in it. And I got in so much trouble for that. Solitary confinement. Like something out of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They'd make people take their clothes off and go in there like for 20 hours. Felt like I was going crazy. Someone was in the other room that was like in a straitjacket, screaming. I was just freezing, I was starving, I was alone, I was scared. My parents were in New York. They didn't know. But I was so angry and so upset, I hated them. I was at Provo for 11 months. And the only thing that saved my sanity was thinking about what I wanted to do and who I wanted to become when I got out of there. I was gonna do everything in my power to be so successful that my parents could never control me again.
and there we have our answer. Oh, I love this stuff, y'all. There we have our answer. She went there and she said that apparently while she was enduring all that trauma, what kept her sane from being like some of the other people who were just checked out, was just not there emotionally at all, were gone, probably, dang near insane. What she would do is have thoughts and impressions about what she was going to do to become rich or to become well off when she got out. And so she, in her mind, in her thinking at that time, if that happened, she could never be controlled again by her parents. And that was what has her, and that's what has her right now, likely in the state of mind of anxiety about being a billionaire, because somewhere, something, even with the expensive therapies that she's probably paid for, something likely still has not been processed well, where this anxiety still is present. So it's room for a lot of work, because it's all right to have ambition, to a certain point, but to the point to where it's causing us anxiety and distress. Where is the fear, and how does that need to be processed? We're way over time. Thank y'all for coming and checking us out. Do want to give attribution to this YouTube video. It's through a YouTube documentary. It's called The Real Story. I just lost it. We want to get this for the record. But it's a Paris Hilton documentary, the real story of Paris Hilton. This is Paris official documentary on YouTube. All right, y'all take care. And dang it, I forgot to give y'all the clips. One started at 28:46 to 31, then from 35:30 to 36, and then we had 47 to 51, and then 113 to 117. There you got it. All right, y'all take care.